Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Curses, Coincidences, and Conspiracies. This time we're going to talk about the Superman curse. I thought it'd go well since Man of Steel was released on June 14th. No, the curse is attributed mainly to two people, and that is George Reeves and Christopher Reeve, which is eerie in itself, saying that their last name shares a resemblance to each other, Reeves and Reeve. But there have been other people affected by the so-called curse. We'll start with George Reeves, who was Superman in the TV sitcom The Adventures of Superman. And he did really well, but he kind of got typecasted for it and really couldn't find a lot of work after. And they ended up finding him dead from a gunshot wound to the head. And that's kind of where the conspiracy part of this TV show comes in, or this web show. And there's a conspiracy right now, or there always has been, that he was actually murdered and it wasn't a suicide. It's been ruled a suicide, but a lot of people point to the fact that his fingerprints weren't on the gun as the reason why it was a murder. The next person was Marlon Brando. Well, Marlon Brando himself was not affected by the curse. His family members were. His son, Christopher, ended up murdering his daughter's boyfriend and ended up going to jail for it. And a little bit later, his daughter committed suicide. So after starring in the film, his whole family kind of just imploded. And he was left kind of broken, kind of retreated away from everyone and started to become really a recluse kind of. Another person affected was Lee Quigley, who played Superman. A lot of people might not know that, but he played the baby who was Superman at the beginning of the 1978 film. Ended up dying in 1991 of solvent abuse. Now, in the early 90s, Christopher Reeve, who was best known for playing Superman in Superman 1 through 4, ended up getting paralyzed from the lower waist down due to being thrown off a horse. And, he was really tough because Superman, he kept trying to work his way up, build his muscles back, and try to get back into form, but he ended up dying of heart failure in 2004. In 2005, Richard Pryor, who played the kind of a villain in Superman 3, but ended up kind of turning face later on in the film, who was also best known as the funniest man in America, ended up dying in 2005 after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, because a lot of people are wondering why he was getting so weak, so thin, all this and that, and that's what ended up happening. And it was kind of, all these people weren't horrible people. You hear a lot of, like, the 27 Club, where people are like, well, a lot of them were doing drugs, this and that. Not a lot of the people in here were doing drugs. Some were, but not a lot. So they weren't horrible people. And the last one, which was kind of weird, was Dana Reeve, who was Christopher Reeve's wife. Ended up dying of lung cancer, even though she never smoked. So she ended up developing this disease, which is usually attributed to smoking and building up all those chemicals in the lungs, and she died of that. So that's another one. Superman Returns, which was Superman kind of 5 in a way, didn't really have anything happen. Some crew members sustained injuries here and there, but nothing major. So we'll see, does Man of Steel snap the Superman curse, or will the Superman curse live on? Until next time, is it a curse, coincidence, or a conspiracy?